And it's Ken Kraetzer for the New York St. Patrick's Day Parade. I get to talk with one of the aides to the Grand Marshal, and that is Martin Dunne, who has been a part of the Tipperary group in the parade and represents the United Irish Counties. Martin, good to see you. What is it like for you this year to look forward to marching with Senator George Mitchell as one of his aides in the parade?
Well, I think it's fantastic to be marching behind George Mitchell. I was in New York in 1966 and marched in a parade to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Easter Rising, and to be marching in the New York St. Patrick's Day Parade on the 100th anniversary behind George Mitchell, who did so much work to bring the peace process to the north of Ireland. I am really thrilled beyond belief.
Well, that's great. Now, if you would maybe tell us a little bit about your coming to New York and some of your early things. I know you served in the U.S. Army.
I came to New York in 1958. I joined my Tipperary Association in 1961, and there were some great Fenian members in that association at that time, namely Mike Flannery and Tommy Healy, John Cashin. And in 1963, I joined the U.S. Army until 1965. Came back, became part of the parade in 1965, and became secretary in 1966. And it's been one heck of a ride ever since.
Well, you know, Senator George Mitchell served in the U.S. Army. He was an intelligence officer, went to Berlin, and he told a little bit about that in his book. And I'm sure he appreciates having another Army veteran as one of his aides. Just tell us a little bit about what you did in the U.S. Army.
I was in the 25th Infantry Division, the Hawaiian Lighten, and I was in heavy equipment, which is mostly, I was the mortar commander of the squad. And we were, of course, a reserve division for Vietnam, and we were ready to pack to go within 24 hours. And we did a lot of training in Okinawa and Japan. But I got out in April of 65, and the division went over in September of 65, and got totally wiped out.
Oh gosh! Now, tell us a little about your career in. You worked in banking in New York City, and then also worked in hospitality. In fact, you'll be marching by one of the places that you worked, the Plaza Hotel. Tell us a little bit about your business career.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was started in banking in '58. My auntie, affectionately called Auntie K, got me a job with Citibank in check processing. And I stayed with Citibank for about 7 or 8 years, and then I moved to an investment bank, and we did back office work. And in '91, I got out of banking and into the hospitality, and I worked in a few different buildings, and finally ended up in the Plaza. And that was a tremendous experience because of some of the people that I met there, and who were terrific residents for the most part.
Absolutely, a landmark. We always enjoy marching past every March 17th, right as we reach Central Park. Now, you mentioned that you've been working on the parade a long time, different capacities, and the secretary of the parade. And back in 1966, you said there was a lot of challenges for the parade that you had to deal with, and the committee did. What happened back then? Well,
it was an incredible thing. You know, that year we had a new mayor by the name of John Lindsay, and he was not that familiar with the city of New York and how it operated with the different ethnic groups. But there was been a move for a long time to move all parades off Fifth Avenue, but the one most focused on was the St. Patrick's Day Parade in the editorials of the Times and everywhere else. So the chairman of the parade at that time was a judge of the city of New York from Kilkenny, James J. Comerford. And he did not know Lindsay, even though Lindsay was his boss. So he decided he had to meet Lindsay, and he went through Governor Rockefeller to get to meet Lindsay, and so he did. And Lindsay finally gave him a 15-minute meeting, announced that they'd have a 15-minute meeting. Comerford goes down, he leaves Lindsay's office 3 hours later, having resolved most of their problems. Comerford knew the history of New York better than most. He knew the statistics of the people who rode the subway the day before the parade, the day of the parade, the day after the parade. And to the mayor's amazement, St. Patrick's Day was the biggest cash revenue day for the subway system. But at the end of their discussion, Lindsay became a great friend of the parade and announced that evening that he said that the parade would be on Fifth Avenue and he would support it, and that anybody that wanted to tangle with Comerford is liable to end up in the East River with a stone around their neck. And Lindsay became one of the best friends the parade ever had for his 8 years in office.
Well, it's great to hear. It shows you what can happen when there's good communication and
Yes.
people listen to each other. Now, you live in Middle Village, Queen, and have done a lot of work for the County Tipperary organization, past president, and several others. Tell us a little bit about some of the County Tipperary organization.
We're a fraternal organization of Tipperary, people of Tipperary descent, and we're big on helping in the community and helping individual people from Tipperary or their descendants, and we do a lot of charity work outside of the organisation. And we have an annual ball, we have an annual golf outing, and we have a membership of about 150, and we meet once a month, and we discuss problems, mostly individual problems of people, of how we can help our communities where we can make a small donation.
Absolutely, and you're also past president of the Irish Business Association. What is involved with that?
Well, the Irish Business is a wonderful organisation geared most toward the youth. For people in business, it gives them a connection, a foundation where they meet once, maybe twice a month. They have a breakfast, they have a monthly meeting, and it's a connection, what's the word I'm looking for? Working together.
On the business community, yeah, absolutely.
What's the word I'm looking
Networking.
for? Networking is the word I'm looking for. Where they do networking and helping each other in business, and do a lot of charitable work as well.
Absolutely. We thought networking was something new. You guys have been doing it for a long time. Now, maybe we're talking with Martin Dunne, who is the Aide at large representing the United Irish Counties this year, longtime volunteer and leader of County Tipperary in the parade. Now, Martin, if you would just tell us about why the parade is important to you and why it's important for young people to continue the tradition of supporting Irish culture here in New York City.
Well, I think it's a great question. I think, when you look back on the history of the Irish people in this town and in this country, and particularly in this town, the contribution that they have made both to their faith, to their religion, and to the welfare of this city. And so many great people went ahead of me who did so much work to make sure that this was a great city of Irish connections. And we march in honour of them and we salute them on St. Patrick's Day.
Well, Martin Dunne, we're going to look forward to seeing you on St. Patrick's Day as you're an aide at large from the United Irish Counties and get to march with Senator George Mitchell up Fifth Avenue. We're going to look forward to that.
Very proud to march behind Senator Mitchell, and hope everybody has a wonderful day and enjoys the day. A great day for New York.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. This is Ken Kraetzer for the New York St. Patrick's Day Parade.